It's the first ever Acts of Geekery award show with your hosts, Cory and Scott, featuring performances by Calculon.
Who's that singing at your wedding? It's Calculon, Calculon, Calculon.
Homer J. Simpson.
Shaving my shoulders, I'm getting it all shaved off.
The Dark Knight himself, Batman.
Am I blue? Am I blue? Ain't these tears in my eyes telling you?
And rising superstar, Philip J. Fry.
I'm walking on sunshine. Oh, oh, oh. I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Wait, do we have all those people actually?
Not really. We didn't have the budget for it. But what we do have is the best awards to hand out this side of the internet. It's the Acts of Geekery Award Show! Scott, do you want to get off your phone there so we can do an award show?
It's the award show of tomorrow.
Indeed it is. Yes.
Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah, a little bit of a different format for episode 25 of the Acts of Geekery podcast. But we're still bringing you all of the geeky things in the world of geekdom because I'm Cory.
And I'm Scott.
And we're the Brothers Geek. 25 episodes, a quarter of the way to 100, Scott.
All right.
All right. And it is the end of the year. We've got maybe 2 days left.
Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday.
It is Monday. We weren't able to do it yesterday, but we're back.
How's your tooth doing?
It hurts.
Okay.
It hurts bad. But we're here.
Yep.
We're here.
And like I said earlier, we do have a little bit of a different format. Instead of bringing you the news and the reviews and the trailers and the topic, we're doing all topic this week. It is our Best of the Year awards. We're going to mostly cover movies, maybe cover comic books.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe our favorite comic book of the year, our favorite actor.
A series of comic books, even. Sure.
Yep. I know what you would pick for a graphic novel.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Yeah. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into it with our first category, the best comedy movie this year.
All right.
And so let's explain the format. These are movies that we have seen.
Yes.
There are movies we haven't seen, and we'll get into that later. But these are the movies that we have seen this year and the best one we thought out of all of them. And what we're going to do is we're going to give you the movie, a brief synopsis of the movie.
Okay.
And the Rotten Tomatoes rating, critic, then user.
Yes, but, our listeners should be informed. We are not only going off of the Rotten Tomatoes
Correct.
Ratings. That's just a courtesy, just to see how they performed and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And we'll discuss a little bit what we thought of the shows as we're talking about them. So let's start for comedy. Ride Along.
Yeah.
This is the Kevin Hart and I think
Ice-T, Ice Cube, Cube Ice, Ice, T-Ice, Ice.
Cop movie, basically, where Kevin Hart is I think he's a high school security guard.
Yeah.
And he wants to be a cop, and his his future brother-in-law. And he wants to ask his daughter to marry, or not his daughter, his brother-in-law's sister to marry him.
Yeah.
That sounded way confusing. His future brother-in-law's sister, Ice-T.
That didn't make it any.
You know what? Let's just move on.
Yeah.
You thought this was a pretty forgettable movie.
I honestly totally forgot about it until you brought it up on our list here.
Yeah.
It didn't make any kind of impression on me that I thought was good. Yeah. I mean,
we didn't see it in theaters even. We watched it in the comfort of the Scooterplex.
Yes.
For $1.
For $1.
Yep.
Redbox.
It received a 17% critic rating, which is awful.
Yeah, they hated it.
But a 60% user rating, which happens a lot with comedies. Mm-hmm. And you'll see that kind of as we're going through. but not for our next one. Actually, that actually surprises me. These ratings on here for Anchorman 2.
Do you want to go and say if there's anything you remembered you liked about it or disliked about it? About Ride Along?
Okay.
Or,
all right. Yeah.
Or any of them, I guess.
Ride Along. Really, the only memorable thing about it is a few of the jokes that were in the trailer.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, it wasn't entirely without comedy. It was just kind of like, it wasn't my style. So
yeah, same here. What I didn't like about it was it's so forgettable.
Yeah.
And the one thing I did like is, I find Kevin Hart, he's fairly funny.
Yeah.
So most stuff he's in, I'm like, I laugh at his jokes because he's just crazy and loud.
Yeah.
So.
All right, but Anchorman 2.
Yes.
This is not a forgettable movie.
No, in fact, it's one of the only comedy movies where I laughed probably 75% of the time. And not because it was bad or anything. I really enjoyed it. I love the first one.
Oh, yeah.
I can quote the first one
Up and down
for days.
We've quoted it on this podcast.
Yeah,
Our guests have quoted it on the podcast.
That's true. And but Anchorman 2, that one, oh man, it was way fun. I had so much fun watching it. We watched it in theaters.
We got, I think my favorite moment is the fight scene. And what I like about Anchorman 2 is that they took everything that you loved from the first one and they expanded it without just feeling like they're retreading the same jokes.
Yeah.
Like the whole Anchorman fight in New York didn't feel like just a retread of the San Diego one. Because it was, but they made it unique enough and hilarious enough that you kind of forgot about that, I've seen this joke before.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the part where who's driving the RV?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's on cruise control.
Yes.
Oh, okay. And then it flips and it's slow motion rolling and there's
Scorpions
and
bowling
bullet balls and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty funny.
It received, surprisingly, a 75% from critics and a 54% from users.
Users did not like it.
I guess not. You and I did, at least.
Yeah.
2 users liked it.
2
Are we
users.
considered critics now?
I rate all the movies that we go see on Rotten Tomatoes. So yeah.
Then the next one is the Adam Sandler movie that came out this year.
Yeah.
Called Blended.
Yeah.
Which,
best part of it, Terry Crews.
yeah. Oh, yeah. He made that pretty
otherwise,
much.
I didn't really care for the movie.
I thought it was fine. It's like all Adam Sandler movies these days. They're predictable.
Yeah.
And it just kind of wrecks it for me a little bit. We're kind of
I don't know. I mean, people, you either love or you hate Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
There's no real middle ground. You either absolutely are like, oh, I love her, she's funny, or you're like, she's super annoying and drives me crazy. And I'm in that camp. I'm in the
camp?
I think she's super annoying.
Okay.
And it's because she's like I said, she's been in way too many of these same kind of movies.
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
Adam
you're just
Sandler,
like,
like
as soon as
it's
you
like
see
their
her.
fourth one. I know they're like
Yeah.
really good friends in real life, but enough's enough for a while. let's hold off on that.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but Adam Sandler hasn't done much very good since Happy Gilmore. It's probably the last really funny one.
I haven't really liked anything beyond
The Big Daddy was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, where he gets the kid as
I think Billy Madison's my favorite
Yeah.
Adam Sandler movie. 14% of critics liked it.
65% of users. We watched it here with the family. And the family, they enjoyed it okay, but they didn't think it was the greatest movie ever.
Again, Terry Crews, every time he was on screen, he just stole that show.
Yeah.
And he was such a minor character that it's like, can't believe that he's the best part of that movie.
Such a minor, semi-racist character as well.
A little bit, yeah.
Shaq was in it too, wasn't he? No, that was another Adam Sandler movie.
You're thinking Grown Ups 2.
That's right.
Which is even worse.
Yeah.
Let's all remember that Grown Ups 2 beat Pacific Rim in the box office.
Yeah.
All right, the next movie on our list, the final movie on our comedy list.
That we saw,
that
came out.
Yeah. Is A Million Ways to Die in the West. The Seth MacFarlane West comedy.
How many times have we watched it?
About 4 or 5.
Yeah, since we got it on Blu-ray.
It's pretty funny. It's a lot of that Seth MacFarlane humor that you have to like. You can't just go into it thinking, oh, this will be a funny comedy. It's also very Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
Like he's paying a lot of homage to Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, it was not well received.
No.
Critics did not like it very much. They got 33% on Rotten Tomatoes.
and only 41% of users.
And users didn't like it. Yet everyone I've shown it to so far has laughed their butts off. They think it's hilarious.
Yeah,
I don't know what the
haven't-
deal. I think it's because it's pretty raunchy. And there's some parts in it that are not.
it is kind of long.
That's true.
It is
That's
pretty
true.
long.
It is, and I think that's one of the things I thought in the theater was like, wow, this is a pretty long movie.
It's still going. Come
Yeah,
on, yeah.
2.5 hours, I believe, is what it is.
I
or
think so, yeah.
a little over 2 hours, which is a long time for a comedy.
Really long time for a comedy, and we have the unrated version, and it's even longer. Although the jokes in there are a lot.
However, it doesn't feel as long
No.
because there's way more unrated. The content that's unrated that they left out of the theatrical release is, I think, so much
Super
better.
hilarious,
Makes it way better.
And the winner is
Open that envelope.
oh. A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Congratulations.
Now this should be like the prime example of we're not going off of Rotten Tomatoes rating because
it's got the lowest out of all the at least people that liked it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and
we don't really go off critics ratings anyways, because I've read a lot of reviews from critics off Rotten Tomatoes for pretty much any movie, and I'm like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
I hate the way you look at movies.
Exactly.
You must have a horrible life if you're nitpicking something that bad. I know it's your job, but wow.
Come on.
Wow.
Come on. 8% of people who didn't like the Avengers.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, I think A Million Ways to Die has the most replay value. Yep. Although that might change because I did get Anchorman 2 for Christmas.
We might have to watch it a couple
times.
times.
We might have to watch it a bunch of times. But I think Seth MacFarlane did a good job, and I can't wait to see his next movie.
Yeah.
So
there's some other movies we didn't catch this year due to, I mean, we only go to one a week. Yeah. And that's only 52 movies for the year. Yeah, it sounds like a lot for people that don't go out to movies, but for us, that's like right on the money, normal, but there's lots more that come out. I mean, there were weeks where we had to pick and choose between, do we go see movie 1 or do we go see movie 2?
And there were movies that we just didn't feel like we wanted to see in the theaters.
So some of the movies we didn't get to see, Drive Hard,
an independent movie if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's a comedy / action. It's got our friend the Punisher, Thomas Jane, in it, and he's an ex-race car driver turned
driving instructor,
and
John Cusack is a bank robber who
jumps in and goes and gets him to help him steal money from bank.
Which it looks really funny from the trailer that we saw.
Yep.
But it only got 8% of critics and 15% of users.
Yeah. Another one is Dumb and Dumber 2, which is the sequel to Dumb and Dumber.
Really? I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah. Jim Carrey and I think it's not Jeff Bridges, it's Jeff Daniels. Jeff Daniels, yeah. And Harry and Lloyd. Yeah. And they're 20 years older.
And again, it looked funny from the previews.
The previews looked hilarious. We didn't get to see it. It's on our list. We've got a list here. We're gonna end up going through and watch. We'll catch them up later.
Yep.
Horrible Bosses 2. Corey, I know you haven't seen Horrible Bosses 1.
And that's probably the reason we didn't go see number 2.
Yeah. I found Horrible Bosses number 1 pretty funny. Maybe not like the greatest comedy ever, of course.
But it was enjoyable.
So, number 2, Kevin Spacey and what's her name? Jennifer Aniston and Jason Bateman, a couple other comedy what would you call that they've done in a long time?
Legends?
No,
comedy?
not legends.
Veterans?
Yeah, there we go. Comedy vets. Yeah.
It was, I want to see them. It's just, and the same thing for 22 Jump Street.
Which I really want to see this.
Yeah, it got great ratings from critics, 84%.
We should go, after this podcast, we should go watch the first one.
Okay.
Because you have never seen it,
no,
right?
I haven't seen the first one.
Yeah, we need to go watch the first one, and then we can go rent the second one and watch it as well. It looks really funny.
Yeah. Night at the Museum 3, The Secret of the Tomb. We didn't watch this because we just ran out of time in the year. We had to record the podcast first.
We went and saw a terrible movie instead.
Yeah, which we'll get to in another category.
Yep.
But
and then The Interview.
Yeah.
Actually, let's do this right now.
Okay, yeah.
The Interview gets the award this year for most controversial movie released.
Absolutely.
Or not released, or released, or not released.
Yeah.
Or what? Or leaked, or whatever.
Yeah.
This is the one with Seth Rogen and James Franco, where they get hired as assassins to go assassinate Kim Jong-il.
Yeah.
Or Un. Whatever.
Yeah. They're the same person.
Whatever. They're the same. They're the same horrible person. And it didn't get released because of terrorist threats, and then Sony decided to release it online, and it's already made $15 million
for being released on YouTube, which
and Google Play and stuff.
Doesn't seem like a lot when you're talking about movies, but you have to take into account that for a movie released out like digital first, you're talking maybe 3 people who would go buy a movie ticket for $6. Instead, all go to the same house and pay $6 for
one time,
for a one-time watching.
True.
So, 15 million times by, let's just say, the average family is what? 3.5 people.
Yeah, 3.5 average, maybe 3.
So times by like 3.5.
45.
Yeah,
45
which is
55 million.
fairly good for a winter opening.
Yeah, not bad. So yeah, most controversial movie of the year.
Congratulations, The Interview.
Yeah, so those are movies we didn't see, but we'll catch them up later.
All right, this is the category I'm most excited about.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, it's time for except for our big award.
Yeah.
But it's time for our best animated movie of the year. And we're going to start with the first animated movie that came out this year, the Lego Movie. Starring
Did that come
Chris
in January or
February?
February of this year.
Starring Chris Pratt as Elliot, a normal-faced Lego man in a Lego world trying to save the world from Will Ferrell.
Okay. Yeah, Will Ferrell's the Lord Business, the evil bad guy.
Lord President Business.
Yeah, President Business.
It got 96% of critics, which is a huge rating for a kid's movie. And I'm sure a lot of critics were just like, oh, these are Legos like when we were kids.
When I watched this, I felt so nostalgic because I love Legos. I always have. And I thought... I was watching it, and all the little details they did, like the Lego part numbers next to everything.
The little dots to add, like, sea foam, the little Lego dots that you always lost in the carpet and everything like that.
Yeah, the dust. Like when they landed on something in the dust and smoke. That was made out of Legos, too.
The smoke, like
everything was made out of Legos.
It's also got Liam Neeson in it, has Bad Cop, pretty
It's
funny.
got Elizabeth Banks as Wild Style or Lucy.
It's got Morgan Freeman.
It's got Charlie Day as Benny the Spaceman.
Oh, yeah. You want to build a spaceship?
Want to build a spaceship?
And then Will Arnett's Batman.
Yes.
Is one of the best performances of the year, in my opinion.
I hope that he does a lot more animated Batman because he did a really good job, and his voice is perfect for it.
Well, they're going to have a Lego Batman movie.
And he's it?
And he's the Batman.
Fantastic.
It's based off of the character from the Lego movie.
Fantastic.
Next, we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about such a good movie, and such a movie that we all kind of had our heartstrings tugged on.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Surprisingly.
How to Train Your Dragon 2. Which, starring...
Jay Baruchel.
Yeah, Jay Baruchel. All the cast
Gerard
returns.
Butler, Stoic, this is his father. Kate Blanchett is, I think, his mother.
Oh, yeah.
Valkut or whatever.
And then the lady from Ugly Betty is Astrid.
Yeah, America Ferrera.
Yes,
and
you.
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill
as well.
Yeah.
But it's really fun.
Yes, a lot more. So the first How to Train Your Dragon was not only cool for its comedy or its action or fantasy, it's really visually cool. The dragon flying and everything like that, and the style, and just the way that they got such a huge performance out, or not performance, but like a huge animation task done with all the dragons that they did swirling together and everything like that. And this one takes that ante and it ups it like tenfold.
Yeah.
And I really love this movie. I need to get it. Like, it's one of the ones on the list that I need to get.
It was very fun, and it got a 92% critic rating and a 91% user rating,
Which means fantastic.
Oh yeah. Most people watched it, and most people enjoyed it, which is awesome. Next,
Yeah.
Big Hero 6.
Yeah.
This one you were
Oh my
so
gosh.
excited for.
And you know what? It's a great movie.
It is a great movie.
It is absolutely a great movie. I kind of forgot about it for about a month there.
I wasn't as impressed with
Mm-hmm.
it as I thought I should have been,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe it's because it was hyped up so much, maybe by you or maybe
Yeah.
by the internet
Yeah.
in general.
I mean, we did podcast about it a lot.
Yeah.
So
But it still did well. 89% critics
Mm-hmm.
positive, 93% positive from users. So it was well received. Everyone
Yeah.
liked it.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 people enjoyed it. You know,
9.3 out of
So that
10.
10%, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I don't know the voices, and if I read their names, no one will know them either.
I
I'm
mean,
sorry, they're just voice actors.
Yeah, they're
not
not big.
even popular voice actor.
But it's great.
Yes, and it stars a little boy hero who's a genius but can't apply himself.
And
his brother.
his brother and his brother's robot friend Baymax.
Yep, and
who
Baymax steals the show.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much every single time
There's
Baymax.
that's the thing I like about these animated movies is there's always a character that steals the show. For Lego Movie, it's Batman. For How to Train Your Dragon 2, it's not Hiccup, Toothless.
Toothless.
Always steals the show. Big Hero 6, it's Baymax, and then for our next movie, I would say it's what's his name's character? The Tick.
Oh, Patrick Warburton.
Yeah, I think it's Patrick Warburton's character for Peabody and Sherman.
Yeah, Patrick Warburton plays the general.
The
or
general
whatever.
from ancient Roman times.
Yes. Yeah, Agamemnon.
Now, Peabody and Sherman is the first in what appears to be a long line of bringing back the old cartoons that you loved and giving them a modern spin.
Uh-huh.
Next year, we have the Peanuts movie coming
I
out.
had to be drugged to this one, basically.
Yeah, you weren't too excited for it.
No, I wasn't very excited for it.
The previews were so
Yeah.
for you.
But it ended up being a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
You get to learn about history. Leonardo da Vinci's pretty fun in it.
Yes.
And again, all of these animation is kind of where it's at these days. I just wish that adults would get on board with animation more, so we can have some more adult.
We know
animation.
a couple adults that the minute you mention a show and mention that it's animated, they instantly go, eh. And it's like, why? I mean, that's awesome. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, you don't have to worry
in the
about
show.
having your actor not look the part.
Yeah.
You know, you can make him how you want.
Yeah.
If the
Because-
Harry Potter books had been animated like that, they would have been fantastic.
The great thing about animated is not only that, but the voice acting. You can find people. So right now, in order to get someone to come to a really popular movie, you know, they have to slap on, you know, George Clooney or you know, what's his name, Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
And they big names, Angelina Jolie, and they throw these up there, and they kind of have to shoehorn these actors into roles they may or may not be good for, perfect for, but they do it because it brings a lot of people in. With animated movies, that doesn't matter because it's all about the animated
Yeah,
characters,
exactly.
and they can find the perfect voice or the perfect actor to play that person. I mean, Tim Conway, or no, it's not Tim Conway, Tim,
Curry?
no, the Batman guy, voice of Batman.
From
Kevin Conroy.
Yeah. I mean, he's great. He's absolutely perfect as Batman.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who he is.
Nobody knows who he is. The guy that plays Superman's voice,
Tim Daly.
Tim Daly. You know,
Oh, there was another one too, but I can't remember who that
Yeah.
was.
perfect voice.
Yeah.
Most recognizable Superman voice.
Ever.
Well, maybe not. I
Well,
mean, Christopher
yeah.
Reeves had TV shows for
That's
a
true,
while.
yeah.
Or no, he didn't. It was someone else. Never mind.
But Christopher Reeves is pretty recognizable.
Yeah, he's pretty
still.
recognizable.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Susan Eisenberg for Wonder Woman. You got, I mean, everybody knows who Poe is. Does everybody know he's Jack Black? Does everybody care that he's Jack Black? No, because Poe is a character who's awesome in his own.
Yep. So next on the list that we saw was Rio 2.
Now, I really liked Rio.
I did too.
It was beautiful.
Even
Again,
with
so good
with
animation.
Lex Luthor's voice.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, that's Lex Luthor, people.
Yeah.
That voice. That voice is Lex Luthor.
That whiny voice.
Yeah, I'm gonna be thinking the whole time he's talking. Look, there's a parrot that can't fly.
Well, I guess he is a he is a
Oh, and
parrot,
he
he's repeating what people are telling him to
and
say.
he created
Facebook. Rio 2 did not hold up to my expectations.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
And speaking of characters still the show, it's always Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan.
That's the dog, the bulldog. Yeah,
Yeah.
he always is the best in all those shows.
Yeah.
Who was the villain? The cockatiel.
It's Jermaine Clement.
Jermaine from
Flight of the Conchords. Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which he is also in Men in Black 3.
Yes.
Which is an amazing movie as well.
That
He
is a good movie.
And
A
you
lot
don't
of
even
people don't
recognize
like
he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
In the movie. I had no idea
He does
until
a good
after.
bad guy.
Until I looked back and I was like, holy crap.
He's
Wow, yep.
Boric, the whatever.
The Destroyer, or
No,
the Enforcer, or something.
the
I don't
ugly
know.
or something.
No.
It's something that people don't. He doesn't like people saying.
Boris. Isn't it Boris?
Boris, yes.
Yeah, it's Boris.
Anyway, it's just Boris. Yeah, but Rio 2 really didn't hold up to what Rio 1 was, and it's kind of. So here's the problem: is when you get a movie that's a love story, kind of like Rio is,
Yeah.
and you put a number 2 in there, it's like, okay, these people are already together. What's going to happen? And suddenly you have to do something weird with the plot to make them hate each other. To go back really quickly, Peabody and Sherman got 74%. Critics and users. Rio 2 got 48, so the critics agree with us, but the users still 60, which is not the
barely
best.
fresh.
Yeah, barely fresh.
On Rotten Tomatoes, if you get below 60%, it's considered rotten.
Yeah. And then we have to really quickly give a honorable mention to Box Trolls.
Box Trolls. It's a stop motion claymation,
which is technically animated.
It's animated.
I didn't see it.
Corey did not see it. I saw it. I thought it was very weird.
Yeah.
It's a very strange movie. Not.
I heard the villains were the best part.
Yeah, and not the main villain, his henchman.
Yeah.
Because one of them again is played by a British actor,
The guy from the IT crowd, if I'm not mistaken.
Moss.
Moss.
Yeah. So pretty funny. Oh, and the other one is not Simon Pegg, but Nick Frost.
Oh,
That's right. So it's Moss and Nick Frost.
yeah. That's a good combo.
It actually did pretty good.
Yeah.
As far as ratings and stuff go.
74% critics, 67% users. Critics always like these movies. The Wallace and Gromit franchise and all of the stop motion franchise that comes from it is really good for critics. Users, it's all British for users, so it's weird.
Yeah.
And people don't like British comedies because they're weird like that. So maybe that's kind of what soured you a little bit. And I know you do like some British comedies.
I like British comedy,
Yeah.
but I just thought it was a strange premise for a show.
Yeah.
And just a strange show.
You
in
like
general.
you like some anime too, but not all anime. You
Correct.
still think some is weird. So.
Correct. So our winner, our pick, we both agree on this. Lego Movie.
Yay! It deserves it.
It does.
Like, it is absolutely. When I first heard about this movie, I was like, Batman's in it, Superman's in it. What the heck is going on with this movie? How can it possibly be anything good? You know, I thought it was going to be kind of like the other Lego movies that's come before it, the kind of Lego created ones that are like 20 minutes long and they're so, but they went all out. I mean, this was a movie that they couldn't animate something like they wanted to, so they left it in glitchy in the movie because they were like, it's too cool not to do. It's just gonna have to do it the way we got it, which seems like bad directing or bad movie making, but it works so well.
I mean, this movie is so good that we picked it up from the store and watched it that night, and then the next night, and the night after that.
Yep.
Like 3 nights in a row, we watched Lego Movie.
Yeah.
After work, we really love it.
And I would say my the runner-up is How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Yep.
As much as I love Big Hero 6, that gets third place. It gets our bronze medal.
Yeah.
But How to Train Your Dragon 2 just was really impressive. The only animated movie that we didn't see this year, which I was kind of sad about because I love watching every animated movie that comes out. Well, I guess I didn't see Box Trolls either, so I'm a little bit more sad now. The Book of Life with Channing Tatum. Did I say that right?
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah, whatever.
Close enough.
Either way.
Yeah.
About the not Cinco de Mayo. Wait, it is Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
Day of the Dead. And it looked really good. It got 82% critics, 81% users, which is fair.
So it's good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's very good, but it's
Yeah.
good.
So I kind of want to see it. We just didn't. There was other stuff coming out that same week, and we didn't watch it. Now, before we get into our next movie category, I wanted to sit down with you and talk about the best geek toy of the year.
All right.
All right. I think that there really isn't much to say other than Funko Pop.
Yeah. And not because I'm a huge fanboy.
Yeah.
I will completely admit that.
Yeah. I mean, we have the YouTube videos to prove it.
True. True.
It's just it is such a well crafted concept for ideas. I think that the only thing that would come close to it would be Disney Infinity with their
True, but that's more of a
statues.
video game than a toy.
Yeah, true. I mean, they're so collectible. Like that is when you're thinking about business, that is what you want.
Yeah.
is got to get them all, the Pokemon.
They went from being, so you saw them occasionally on a shelf to now everywhere carries them. Walmart, Target, Shopko, Kmart, they all have Funko Pop. Our comic book store has an entire wall dedicated to them.
And then the rest scattered around the entire office.
They're everywhere, and there are all over Amazon, eBay. I mean, there are people selling check out this Funko Pop. It has a missing arm from the factory. Buy it from me for $100.
Yeah, exactly.
And people are buying that kind of stuff because they have turned into collectibles. So yeah, they at least get my award for best geek toy of the year.
I will agree with you.
Okay.
Yeah, they get a geek award from both of us.
Yep.
I think that something that's going to be really big for Funko in the future, besides getting more and more franchises, would be the blank Funko Pops, where you can design your own.
Yeah.
You basically paint your own and everything on them.
Paint your own, mold it with clay. I mean, there's some really cool ones out there that have been done, and some that I'm like, if I had more money, I'd buy that. I can't afford $80 for a Funko Pop, but but wow.
And that's the thing is they're so affordable. The regular ones are just
10?
10.
Yeah. I think at the most we've seen them in stores for 12.
Yeah, and then the bigger ones sell for about 16 to 19.
Yeah. But if you I just bought one. If you check out a video we just uploaded to YouTube, I kind of go over a couple things I got for Christmas,
including a 3-pack.
Including a 3-pack of Frozen ones, not like Frozen from the store, but from the movie Frozen. And they were only $30, and it came with a large. Came with a large 6-inch tall, or they classify them as large. And they say 6-inch, but they're not always 6 inches tall.
They're just the big ones.
They're just the big ones, and it came in a 3-pack. It's only $30. So right there, you're getting a deal.
Yeah.
You're getting a little bit less, for all 3 of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Best toy of the year
Let's go ahead and get into your favorite category.
of movies.
Yep, of movies. The best sci-fi movie of the year.
All right.
And again, I think we start with the one that we saw first.
Okay.
RoboCop.
Yeah. That came out March.
February? I think it was February for that one too.
Totally forgot it came out this year.
Yeah, so did I.
Not saying something good about it.
Yeah. It is the revitalization of the RoboCop franchise.
It's a remake.
To be.
There was a lot of people that didn't want this to come out because they thought that the original RoboCop was perfect the way it was.
Yeah.
Come on, people. Let's be honest. It was made in the 80s.
It's crap.
It's pretty crappy.
Yeah. It's not entirely
it's
crap.
Fun.
It's fine.
It's fun, but it's pretty crappy as
Yeah.
far as the quality goes.
And that's the problem with a lot of these 80s franchises is people are looking at them through their I was a kid lens, nostalgia
Ruby-colored
lens.
glasses, yeah.
And suddenly things aren't they realize that my franchise wasn't as good as before. I don't want it to be ruined anymore. That kind of thing.
I give it a so-so. It's fun to watch. It's a little bit new. It's a new take on it.
Yeah. I think the third act is what we didn't like. It kind of drug on
A little bit.
It got kind of weird for a bit there.
Yeah.
Only 48% of critics, 50% of users. 52% of users.
So there was a lot of it was split pretty evenly down the middle.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Some people liked it. Some people didn't like it.
Then again, so was Man of Steel, and we both like Man of Steel.
That's true.
So.
That's true.
All right, the next one. This is the first category that this one shows up in. Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Another remake of of an old classic that people love, and it was remade in 2001, I think. And it was
That
terrible.
was a terrible movie.
Oh my gosh, so bad.
Yeah.
They took everything about Godzilla and just warped it into something that it wasn't. But this one goes back to the classic monster movie.
And the classic Godzilla fighting other monsters.
And it doesn't hold up. As much as I liked it, because there were cool moments in it.
I think what stopped it from being a great movie was the actors they picked for the human roles.
Yeah.
Which makes me sad because you've got Aaron Taylor Johnson, which is Kick-Ass, and he's great in Kick-Ass.
Yeah, and he's going to be Quicksilver.
And I hope he does a good job as Quicksilver. I really do. And I think he will, because Marvel's pretty good at making them do their character properly.
Yeah.
But we'll see. He was not good in Godzilla. I don't know if that was the director's fault or his acting or his writing. You know, the script he was reading, he was bad.
They had Bryan Cranston in there, like one of the most sought actors right now, for
25 minutes.
Yeah,
20 minutes.
And he wasn't. He was advertised as the main character.
Yep.
But he wasn't.
And then he gets killed 20 minutes into it.
Not really a good choice there, guys.
The end part was the best.
Oh yeah, the last 20-minute fight.
The last
scene.
20-minute fight scene between Godzilla and the two monsters, and that's great. But they could have cut out, I don't know, 50% of the rest of the movie and made it just fine.
Critics liked it though, 73%, and
people were, they were like, it's all right, it's all right, 67%.
This next one is actually one of my favorites of the year.
That's true. This is right up there.
Yeah,
right up there as far as.
And we can't give too much away about the winner, but we're talking about Live, Die, Repeat: The Edge of Tomorrow.
Correct.
Which, let's face it, Edge of Tomorrow is kind of a crappy name for it.
It used to be. I can't remember what they had. They had to name something funny way before that.
Based on a graphic novel, I think, or maybe not, called All You Need Is Kill.
Yeah, All You Need Is Kill.
Yep.
So this has Tom Cruise in it.
And we did not, or I wasn't too excited for it.
I actually like Tom Cruise. Here's another one of those actors that you like him or you hate him.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people just can't stand him.
Yeah.
But that's why this movie is perfect. And I'll say it again. I've said it before.
Yeah.
And
did we review this one on the
we
podcast?
We did, and this is what I said as well, but I'll repeat it. If you love Tom Cruise or like him as an actor, go see it because he does a great job in this. If you hate him as an actor, go see it because he gets killed like 100 times.
And he screams like a little girl.
He screams like a little girl every time he gets killed. And so if you hate Tom Cruise and you want to see him get murdered, this is the movie you
honestly,
go see.
That was my favorite part of the movie.
It was
every time that little montage
funny.
of him dying over and over.
And that was funny. Anyways, he's stuck in a cycle of like 2 days.
A Groundhog Day cycle.
Yep, basically Groundhog Day, but they're in a war against these crazy aliens.
Yeah.
And have to figure a way out. And it's got Emily Blunt in it as well, which I hadn't seen her, or at least that I could recall in anything else.
She's been in a couple of things.
I know she has, but I couldn't recall. And I saw her in this, and she did a really good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's a lot more attractive than I thought she was going to be.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I just didn't really recognize her until I saw this movie. I was like, holy crap.
Well, critics and users pretty much agree, 90 and 91%.
Yeah, it's good.
Pretty good movie.
Here's another great movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's got Andy Serkis, one of our favorite actors.
Oh yeah, the best motion capture actor out there.
I don't know.
The only man who can make you feel with just his eyes.
Benedict Cumberbatch did a pretty good Smaug.
A new category, best motion capture.
Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Dot Pata. We've talked about it on the podcast before. I think everything we said on the podcast it still goes here.
Yeah.
Great movie. Apes are great. Ape no kill ape. Human characters, kind of two-dimensional.
What is it with us humans and ruining movies?
Yeah.
Look at Transformers.
Yeah, the human
Transformers would
characters
be so much better if it wasn't. I mean, first of all, if it wasn't directed by Michael Bay, and second of all, if there weren't humans in it.
Exactly. So I don't know.
But it was actually really good.
Yeah.
And really
Very
intense and like edge of your seat intensity.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's a monkey firing 2 machine guns, people. Go see it.
And riding in a tank.
Go rent it. Yeah, and riding in a tank. Swapped from Edge of Tomorrow. 91% of critics, 90% of users. So I guess critics liked it just a tiny bit more. But again, it's 9 out of 10 people.
Yep.
The next one we saw, and we reviewed on the podcast, did great overseas, didn't do so great in the U.S. Lucy. Directed by the guy who did Fifth Element.
Which is Alfonso... No. I can't remember the guy's name now. Alfonso Cuarón's the one that did Gravity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember this guy's name.
Well, while you're looking that up, I'll talk a little bit about Lucy.
All right.
It was advertised as kind of an action movie in the U.S. for a girl who starts getting the full capacity of her brain power, which is an old theory that has since been disproven.
Yeah. So it's directed by Luc Besson.
Luc Besson,
which is a French director. And like The Fifth Element did kind of the same thing. It kind of floundered in America, but it did fantastic elsewhere. However, now it's become one of these like
cult classics,
sci-fi classics, and everyone loves it. And there's all these people that do cosplays of it and stuff. Main character Scarlett Johansson.
Yep,
everyone loves ScarJo. One of the hottest actresses, not in looks, but in availability or wantability, I guess.
Yeah.
Is what you call it?
I think
nowadays
I think her attraction is 2-part. She's
pretty.
She's pretty.
Sure.
And she has that kind of in most movies that she does, she has that kind of vibe of a woman that you like, that is the one that got away. Like, she's a really independent woman, and that makes her appealable.
Okay,
people.
yeah. And also Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman.
He's a professor with a silky smooth, put you to sleep voice.
Oh, I thought that was his character in Lego Movie. His character in this is a blind man that teaches Lucy how to put things together.
No.
No.
No, pretty much Lucy teaches him.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So she unlocks the potential of her brain
thanks to drugs,
and does all kinds of crazy stuff with it. I really enjoyed it.
I did too.
However, it was a little long.
It was a little long, and it was kind of weird.
Yeah, it did get a little weird. But then again, that's Luc Besson. He kind of does that in movies. So.
And it shows in the ratings: 66% of critics, 47% of users.
Yeah, people didn't like it or couldn't understand it enough to like it.
It's a thinky movie.
Yeah.
It's a thinky movie. And we'll get into another thinky movie.
And that was,
later.
I think, the main problem is it was touted as an action movie, but it's only action for the first third, and the last 2/3 of it is not very actiony at all.
Yeah,
it's
not
more
really.
thinky and, what are the possibilities? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next movie is the last movie that we saw in Sci-Fi this year.
Yep.
Scott has been excited about it for a while, and it's Interstellar.
Interstellar by Chris Nolan.
Yep, and I think... Oh, I'll get into that later, because I have a theory of why the critic rating is what it is.
Okay. But anyways, it stars Matthew McConaughey.
And Anne Hathaway.
And a couple others that are not really... John Lithgow.
Yeah.
He's in it as the Matthew McConaughey's father. Michael Caine's in it as the...
Matt Damon.
Yeah, Matt Damon. Which, it's funny that they didn't tote him in it at all, really.
I think
didn't even know
that was
about
on
him.
purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Matthew McConaughey, outstanding performance.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Surprisingly well. One of these movies, and to me, it's the most true sci-fi on this list.
Oh, yeah.
It stuck to science fiction more than any of these other movies. It was kind of like a tribute to 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
And which the score, the music, Hans Zimmerman, fantastic,
Beautiful.
fantastic music.
Even if it was a little loud.
It was a little loud, yeah. And I think that was my main problem with it, was just the score was a little loud. But then again, the director, Chris Nolan, said, we did have audio problems. It needed to be released, so we released it. However, I think that he said that when they release the actual one on DVD or Blu-ray, it will be corrected.
Okay.
So go see it again if the audio bugged you enough. It didn't bother me too much, but you could tell it was a little overbearing.
Yeah.
However, it was great. It was great music.
It was great.
And they pretty much captured Stanley Kubrick's style, but not in the, oh my gosh, when will this be over? It's so long.
Yeah.
More like,
in
wow, this is epic and grand and holy
beautiful.
crap. And look at these ramifications. And you really feel for these characters when stuff happens to them. And you're like, oh my gosh, I feel terrible for that guy.
Yeah.
You know,
Like, what happened was
you spent
even the bad guys in this are
27
like-
years up on a spaceship waiting for someone
Yeah. Who's gone maybe 17 minutes,
that was gone like 3 hours on a planet.
and they come back looking like they did 27 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're 27 years older.
Now, critics gave it 73%,
Right.
which I think is because critics are getting kind of tired of Chris Nolan and his and how he does movies.
Yeah.
Like they're starting to realize what I realized a little bit ago, that Chris Nolan doesn't do artsy movies. He does fartsy movies where he's just like, it's a movie. It's a good movie, but it's not this beautiful, like, independent film that critics
Yeah.
like and everything.
Yeah.
And then 87% from users.
Yeah.
Which,
So
yeah.
I thought it was great.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was great. One of the best sci-fis I've ever seen,
Mm-hmm.
and I really enjoyed it.
And then we have to give an honorable mention mostly because we can't think of where else to put it.
Yeah.
To Mockingjay Part
Mockingjay.
1.
Yeah. We don't know if it's sci-fi or it's not high fantasy, but it
Yeah.
would be more like
It's like
apocalyptic world.
yeah, which is kind of sci-fi-ish. I don't know. So it goes here. Honorable mention.
It was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like you said, it was Jennifer Lawrence reacts to stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as much as and everybody's always like, oh, but think of all the imagery and everything. I was like, no, all I can see is Jennifer Lawrence reacting to things. I'm sorry.
And our pick for the best sci-fi movie
Sorry, this one's a little
of
hard.
2014 is
Interstellar.
Yay!
Cue the clapping soundboard.
When we were thinking this up, that's the first one that came to my mind, and then you brought up Edge of Tomorrow and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yep.
I totally forgot they
Super
came out
close.
this year. However, that to me is a bad thing. If I
Yeah.
don't remember that it come out this year, it didn't make as big of an impression on me.
Now,
Interstellar
that could have
makes
been
a
Interstellar
huge-
just like over encompassed everything else.
It's possible, but I thought it was great. So
I really wanted to give it to Edge of Tomorrow first, and then Dawn of the Planet of the Apes when I realized Dawn of the Planet of the Apes came out. But I think you're right. I think Interstellar is the true sci-fi. I think it's beautiful, and it's like Gravity was in 2013.
Yep.
So there we go. Movies that we didn't see sci-fi wise. Transcendence.
That's the one where Johnny Depp uploads himself or gets uploaded into the internet.
and we didn't see that because I was on my honeymoon.
And I've got it, so
Yeah.
so we need to see it. We need to watch it. A lot of people didn't like it. 19% from critics, 38% from users.
And this is what we were talking about with the whole critics don't like, or people don't like thinky movies.
yeah, and apparently this is one of those makes you think a lot, and
Yeah.
it's got a lot of
Makes you uncomfortable with what the material that's being
because there's
covered.
not a lot of action going on.
Yeah.
I mean, how could there be? He's inside of a computer.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
One that we've been talking about the trailers of, and we can't believe that it came out. when
we
looked
totally
on the list.
we totally didn't even realize it
Yeah.
because I think it was open in select theaters. I don't think it was a nationwide
Yeah.
release.
Automata.
That's the robots that
Yep. It's like iRobot with Antonio Banderas.
yeah the robots not go crazy, but they have a break in their programming and they
Gained personalities.
gain
or
self-awareness.
sentience? Okay.
Yeah, sentience, self-awareness, and they go and make their own kind of a colony type
Yeah.
thing. And Antonio Banderas is, I think, the cop that's trying to
trying to-
track him down, and
So they can wipe them, I think is what it is.
yeah. But then he ends up figuring out that these actually have personalities, and they're
Yeah.
they're
They're sentient.
they're
They
sentient.
can't be.
So
Yeah.
we'll have to go see that. It didn't get very good reviews, so. But then again, that's might be because it's more independent than. Was it the same director as District 9?
No, it wasn't the same
Oh,
director.
okay,
You're
that's right.
thinking Chappie.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. But 31 and 33 or 32% critics and users, which isn't the greatest, but it might be one of those that people are wrong on. You never know.
IMDb lists it 6.1 out of 10. So
which
it's
is
okay.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other one that we didn't see is Divergent, which I just really have no interest in seeing.
It's one of those young adult books turned into a movie, kind of like Hunger Games.
Yeah.
I never read the book. I've had a couple friends that have, and they say they really like it, and they say the movie was pretty good.
Yeah.
Critics didn't like it. They gave it a 41% positive.
Users liked it. with
Users really liked it
71,
though, 71%. So
which is 7 out of 10.
I think we should see it. I know it's not one on your thing. Shouldn't Maze Runner be on there too?
No.
That's not sci-fi?
No, I'm considering that fantasy.
Oh, okay.
Which we'll get to in a bit here.
All right.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, it feels like it's more fantasy than it is.
Let's get through this next one really quick because
Yeah.
we're not action movie people.
Nope.
We don't go see action movies
As
just
much as
because
they're as cool as they are.
we want to see stuff blown up.
Yeah.
We would rather go see a geeky movie instead or an animated movie or
So
something.
the two that we saw, and then there's one that you saw that I didn't see. The one that you saw is 3 Days to Kill with
Kevin Costner. And I honestly couldn't even remember the plot to give you on it.
Bad, huh?
He has 3 days to kill.
Okay.
He has to kill 3 days. I don't know if that means he's got to wait in an apartment for 3 days for something, or if he actually has to go out and kill people named with the last name Day. I have no idea.
Felicia Day, look out!
This is one of those things that I can't even give you a plot synopsis.
Like you said, moving on quick then.
And it didn't get good. What are the ratings on that one?
29 and 44, critics and users.
Yeah, didn't go too well. I know we watched. The one thing I can say is we watched that here at the Scooterplex.
All 3 of these movies we watched at
and
the Scooterplex.
This one in particular, no one in the family liked it. They all went, "That was worthless. That was a waste of a movie."
Well, you're spoiling what's not going to win the award there, Scott. But
Why
let's
should
go
we
ahead
even
and-
give an award? None of them were very good.
Yeah, that's true. Nonstop is our next movie with Liam Neeson. It's basically Taken on a Plane.
and taking the movie on a plane. Yeah.
So-
there's isn't that the one with the terrorists? It's
Yeah,
like there's a bomb on the plane.
He's texting.
and
No, he's texting him saying every 30 minutes
someone's
someone
gonna
will die.
That's
yeah.
right, and he has to figure it out because he's an air marshal or a sky marshal.
But he's a corrupt-ish sky marshal.
No, he's an alcoholic. He's not really corrupt.
It's kind of that whole whodunit, and you have to sit there trying to think about it the entire movie. It's not bad. I liked it fine enough. It just wasn't. I would agree with the critic rating actually, 60% for me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Just
65 for
barely,
users.
barely
so-
fresh.
Yep, just barely.
And then the last one
We
which-
just watched actually.
Yeah, Expendables 3. And I've talked about how much I hate it.
I didn't mind it, but then again, it's one of those movies where you just kind of turn your brain off and let it do its thing. It's not really something you really need to think about.
Yeah.
So
you're more the user rating of 50%. I'm more of the critic rating of 32. In fact, I'd give it lower than the critics.
okay.
So-
Okay. Yeah, and our top pick for that would be Nonstop. Yep, Nonstop. I didn't have to
Yeah,
open
let me do the
envelope.
Foley work here.
No, that's all right.
All right. Yeah, Nonstop.
But there were a couple more that we didn't see. However, and two of these actually,
all 3 of them.
we should have seen.
Yeah, we
in
should
place
have
of the
seen.
ones we did see. The Equalizer. Denzel Washington. He's working at a Home Depot or a hardware store.
Based on an old TV show.
He is an old CIA agent or something,
Yeah.
and he goes and beats the crap out of a bunch of mobsters and stuff.
Yeah,
and
because they stole a girl or something
yeah.
like that.
Apparently, it's
Killed
really
a girl.
good. It
Yeah.
got 61% critics, not great, but 79% for users.
Yeah.
Users liked it a
So
lot.
users liked it. Fury.
The tank
which is-
movie.
the tank movie with
Brad
Brad
Pitt.
Pitt and Shia LaBeouf.
Which you'd think that
LaBeouf.
with Shia LaBeouf in it, it would have dropped its rating.
Yeah.
But it didn't.
78.
78 critics and 87 users.
Yeah, and Casey wanted to see it too, so I don't know why we didn't see that one.
Yep.
And then one that your best friend saw and said it was great,
Yeah.
John Wick.
John Wick, which is starring Keanu Reeves.
He knows kung fu.
He does know Kung Fu. And apparently, again, another former intelligence agent of some sort.
Loses the only family he has.
Yep.
A dog,
Well,
isn't it?
his wife and his daughter are killed.
Oh, okay.
And the only thing left he has is the dog.
Oh, okay.
And some mobster or something kills his dog.
Ooh.
Which right there pisses me off because I'm a dog lover. I love
Yeah.
dogs, and so I would go on the same kind of rampage he would. And he goes out and makes
Murders
sure
a lot of
they all
people.
get paid.
Yep.
And that sounds kind of like a dumb movie. However, it's really good. Apparently,
Yeah, 85% of critics and 82% of users.
Yeah.
For a Keanu Reeves movie
good.
these days, that's really
that's
good.
Matrix.
Yeah.
No, number one, not second, third, but that's like the Matrix 1 level
Yeah.
of reviews.
So I thought we were going to have a lot fewer movies for the fantasy category.
We ended up having quite a few.
Yeah. So the best fantasy movie, the first one on our list is Maleficent.
The alternate telling of Sleeping Beauty. Yeah, I was bored.
Yeah, it really didn't grab me at all.
I was bored through the movie.
Yeah.
Users loved it. 72% positive.
My wife loved it. But I think we're more in the critics of 94.
I didn't like
49%.
The guy that played the king.
Who couldn't decide on his
Couldn't
accent.
decide on his accent.
Yeah, he never can.
Angelina Jolie. Everyone thinks she's like the prettiest person on the planet, and I cannot see it. I am sorry. I don't think she's ugly,
She's fairly attractive.
but I can't see her being like the hottest thing in 20. No, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no,
She
not
needs to eat a hamburger or 12.
Yeah.
I mean, she's too
Get
skinny.
some meat on those bones.
Yeah, no kidding.
Hercules is the next one on our list.
And we're split on this one. I couldn't really care less about it.
I think it's great.
It was meh
Yeah.
for me.
You didn't like how the fantasy elements weren't put in.
Right.
Like you thought, like they were just stories.
I
You
want to
like
see
that.
Hercules actually fight the serpent or actually kill
Yeah,
the giant lion.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Yep.
Our future Black Adam.
Yep.
Got 58% of critics, 52% of users. Not the best score, but I still like it for the fantasy feel to it.
Dracula Untold.
Yeah, I like this. Again, I think this.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah. With Luke Evans, the budget
Orlando Bloom.
as Dracula, and you get again the untold story.
I mean, not Dracula. He's Vlad the
Vlad
Impaler.
aka
Dracula.
Yeah. 22% of critics, 60% of users. It was a fair movie.
I would say I'm right there with the users, about 60%.
Yeah, about 60% sounds about fine.
The
We
most-
talked about this one last
The most
week.
anticipated one of the year.
Would that be an award? The most anticipated movie of the year?
I think for a lot of people it was.
Hobbit, Battle of the Five Armies.
Battle of the 3.5 armies.
No, Battle of the Five Armies.
3.5 armies. The 3 armies and the 2 scrambling of few people to get together.
If you want to hear our review of it, you can go back to last week's podcast. We talk about it there, and you can see just why
And
Scott
we're
doesn't like it.
split up on this.
Yep.
I didn't care for it that
I thought-
much.
I agree with I actually agree a little bit higher than the user rating. I think it's about 80%. They say about 78%, which is a good movie, not a great movie.
Critics are about where I'm at.
Yeah, 60.
60. I'm at like 55 or 60% on
Okay.
it. And the last one, we just saw this one this week.
Yes.
Into the Woods.
Into the Woods.
Holy crap, I saw these trailers and thought awesome fantasy, a retelling of, Jack and the Beanstalk, Little Red Riding Hood, like all these fun old stories retold with
Yeah.
new graphics and stuff. It's a musical.
Yeah. There have been previews where it's a musical too. I guess you didn't see those.
I can understand 1 or 2 songs in the movie. No, this is like
Broadway
90%
Yeah.
singing. Oh, I was super annoyed with it. Didn't like it. The music I didn't think was good.
Yeah.
If the music would have been good and actual songs, not just I'm
People
singing
sing
what I'm
talking to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm singing when I should be talking instead.
Yeah, it's really hard to like a movie's songs when the entire movie is songs.
You mean it's hard to like a movie
Yeah.
songs? Yeah, I didn't like it. I'm not anywhere near what the critics or the users gave it. I'm at like 20%.
Yeah, and they're at
I
71.
will
and
not watch it
61.
again.
Yeah,
No,
that's fine.
if people want to watch it, I'll go do something else because I don't want to watch it. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah. And the winner is, I think we have to give it to Hobbit, Battle of the Five Armies.
Unfortunately, I agree with you. Even though I didn't, like I said, I didn't think it was the greatest thing ever. It's just better than the other ones.
There's not a lot of fantasy movies that come out that people really like, is the problem.
True.
So,
True.
movies we didn't see, we talked about it up in the sci-fi category, The Maze Runner.
Yep.
based on a book. We didn't see Night at the Museum. Again, I'm putting it here as in addition to comedy because
Night at the
it's
Museum
kind of
3?
fantasy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We just didn't see it because we ran out of time. And a movie that we didn't know came out this year, again, kind of like Automata, Horns.
Yeah.
The Daniel Radcliffe.
Which, after looking at the ratings, maybe I don't really care as much about it
below
anymore.
50% for everybody.
It's like 40, 41 for critics,
Yep.
49 for users.
All right. Now, before we get into our next movie category, let's talk about our favorite or / the best actor / actress of the year.
All right.
Okay. I think so.
Let's do our runner-up first.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey is our runner-up.
Yeah, we talked about it just a little bit ago in Interstellar. He did a fantastic job in it.
That guy needs to get out of
surprising.
comedy.
Way surprising. And I think, like I said in our review, he's gotten to the point where he is taking his career more seriously, and he's actually got the acting chops for it. He's got kind of a goofy southern voice, and sometimes he's hard to understand, but
pretty good.
He can still pull it off in most of the stuff.
Like I
that's
said,
out
he
there.
needs to get out of comedy roles and just start doing serious stuff because he does a great job in that.
And he does have, even though I kind of ragged on his voice just a minute ago, he does have a pretty decent narrator voice because
absolutely.
he's got the voiceover for the Interstellar trailers, and it's kind of like one of those gives you shivers type of thing.
But I think the most surprising star of the year, the one that we both think did a great job this year, is Chris Pratt.
Yes,
Both in the Lego movie and in Guardians of the Galaxy.
yeah, he played the main character in Lego movie. What was
Elliot.
his? Elliot, that's right.
Is it Elliot? No. Emmett.
Emmett.
I think I've been calling him Elliot all episode. That's embarrassing. People have been screaming at their phones or their computers and getting ready to write us angry emails, and I just realized that. But he did great.
That's okay, guys. Everything is awesome.
Yeah, everything is awesome when you're Chris Pratt, apparently. And he's only getting bigger.
Both physically
Yeah, with his
and
beefiness.
figuratively.
He'll be in Jurassic World.
He played and his breakout role, Star-Lord in
Absolutely.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, so good, Star-Lord.
Yep.
Like the perfect Star-Lord.
Yeah, now when I read Star-Lord, his lines in the comic book, I see Chris Pratt, and I hear his voice, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Like when I read Hal Jordan, I hear Malcolm Reynolds, and when I hear Batman, there's like 3 Batmans I can hear, but they're all good.
Yeah, it's like all 3 at the same time.
Yep.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into the award that no one wants to win, the Worst Movie of the Year award.
Yay!
We have 3 candidates for this.
Well, you know what? We have 4. It's not even going to be an honorable mention. It's going to
Okay.
be in there.
Okay.
Even though we didn't see it, we still know that it is so horrible, it should be on this list.
And that's Transformers 4.
That is
Might as well
Transformers
get
4.
into it. Yep. 18% of critics, 53% of users. What is with you guys, users? Why do half of you still like it?
I don't know. It's not even good action.
No.
Because it is all over the place.
Yeah.
We watched a couple Everything Wrong With movies and
Honest
trailer of them, and we cringed through the whole thing.
Yep. We have it upstairs. We've had it for months now.
Yeah.
And we're not going to watch it.
We can't bring ourselves to watch it. And even our younger sister Geek, she loves Transformers. She hasn't seen it, and I don't think she cares to watch it either. It's just gone downhill.
Yeah, it really
The first
has.
one was okay, and it was good because of the nostalgia factor. It was bad because of the Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox factor.
And Michael Bay.
And yeah, of course. I mean, that's just a given. We don't even need to say it.
Yeah.
If Michael Bay's name is tacked onto any of these anywhere, it's just going to be bad.
Yep.
I mean, he's done a couple that were okay. Armageddon was okay. But even then, I look at it now and not from when I watched it back then, I'm like, this is really not that great of a movie.
I think he did The
Why would you
Island,
send?
too.
Why would you send an untrained group of oil drillers into space? No country in the world would do that.
No, absolutely
Not unless 50 other space crews have all died on the way up there.
It's like the last
and
the bottom of the barrel.
Even then, there have to be like military trained people that can do that same stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need a random crew of oil drillers to. Oh. I mean, like I said, it was okay. I look at it now and I'm like, that was stupid.
I think he did the island too.
I liked the island though.
Yeah,
Did you not like that one?
I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, another thing that has Michael Bay attached to it: Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Not directed by him, produced by him.
However, he must have had his hand in it somewhere because it was bad.
Yep, it was total crap.
The only thing that was good about it was when it was just the turtles and the turtles only, and they had a great dynamic.
You know what ruined the movie, Scott?
Making
Human
fun.
characters.
Human characters ruined the movie again.
And they focused too much on the human characters.
Yep.
So,
We don't care about April O'Neil. We don't care about, as much as we love Chris, what's his name? Batman. New Batman from Lego Movie.
Will Arnett.
Will Arnett, not Chris. As much as we love Chris, whoever you are.
We love every Chris.
And yeah, it was bad.
22% critics, 55% users.
Again, users.
What is with you guys?
Yeah, come on.
Which is funny because a lot of the movies that are really bad on critic and user ratings aren't on this list for us. Mm-hmm. The next one on our list is Muppets Most Wanted. We went and saw this movie.
I did not like this movie at all.
You know what? I love the Muppets. I am a huge Henson fan.
You are a Muppeteer.
I am a Muppeteer.
You are a Muppet puppeteer.
Yep, but this movie did not hold up. There were some funny moments, but not enough to get over.
For the most part, it was just bad.
Yeah. Forgettable is the word.
Yeah, that's a good word.
But it got 79% of critics and 60% of users.
Yeah, apparently.
Which is fresh. So I don't know. Is it us? Are we the bad guys?
I don't know. You forced me to watch the first Muppet movie, and I actually really liked it.
Yeah. The
songs
were great.
I thought it was fun. The songs are great. The songs in this one, not so good.
I don't even remember any of them.
The plot was just weird. I mean, I think the funniest part was I think you're looking at the wrong badge, and that's it. I think that's the only funny
Ty
part.
Burrell.
Yeah,
Ty Burrell was
and
good.
that was really the rest of it. Was just like, let me out of this theater. And then the first one we saw this year, that got put on this list. That's okay. 300: Rise of an Empire. Yes, you get to see Ava Green's boobs. But you know what? That doesn't save the movie.
You know what? That's why I was thinking about why it's 53% of
That's
users.
probably why.
Yeah, Ava Green's boobs. Which there's a better movie with her boobs in it.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that a little later.
Yes.
But it was bad. It was so bad. 300, I enjoyed.
Such a good movie.
It was way fun.
It was one of the movies we had on our back when we had Zunes.
Yeah. Whew, that was a long time ago.
Yep. But it was one of the movies you had on there, and it was really good. But this one just didn't hold up.
No. What's the plot? Like some leftover guy from Greece that heard about the war
it was going on at the same time
He's a
as King
fisherman
Leonidas and Xerxes sent his navy up to attack Greece.
Yeah.
And he gathers what forces he can.
40
to
boats
defend.
or something versus 600 or something like that.
And
he ends up beating them and having interesting weird sex with Ava Green, the captain, like angry I hate
angry
you
sex. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
We're both face palming.
It's just bad.
All right, Corey, which one are we going to give the worst movie of this year?
I have it right here.
All right.
It goes to, as much as we'd like it to be Transformers 4, we can't give it because we haven't seen it yet.
Seen it, so we can't give it a full negative rating.
So it goes to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
The most disappointing movie of the year, in my opinion.
I had high hopes for it. Heard that Michael Bay was on it. They got crushed.
I would rather watch the old Ninja Turtles live action movies.
Oh yeah, Go
Instead
Ninja,
of
Go
this.
Ninja, Go! Of course. We wanted
Exactly.
to see Bebop and Rocksteady. We wanted to
They'll
see
be in the next one.
We wanted to see Casey. What's his name?
Casey Jones.
Casey Jones in that.
Yeah, nothing.
None of
Nope.
that.
Shredder was even terrible in it.
Yeah, the suit was cool, but it's just weird.
Yeah. All right. It's time.
Drum roll.
It is time for the best Geek Movie of the Year, our Geeky Award.
Our Geeky Award.
Yeah. There's a lot of contenders for it.
A lot of really good movies, too.
First, Godzilla. Got to put it back on there. We talked about it earlier.
It is a geek. It's pretty geeky.
It is geeky. So, and a lot of people went and saw it. I guess RoboCop could have been on this list too. I just think Godzilla had more of a geek following to it.
Right.
Like, you don't see people having RoboCop marathons. You see Godzilla marathons all the time.
True.
April showed us Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Not April O'Neil, but April the month.
April the month.
Yep. Which, oh my gosh.
First of all, the ratings,
Mm-hmm.
fantastic.
89.
89% critics, 92% users.
Yes. And it's so good.
It is.
It is the perfect. This is the perfect follow-up to Avengers. Honestly, you want to watch a movie after the Avengers, watch this one first.
Yeah.
Because as great as Iron Man 3 was, and as great as Thor: The Dark World was, neither of those movies have much to do with the Avengers.
That's
2.
true. They're their own separate deal. They don't.
Maybe
they
Iron Man 3 a little
barely
bit.
even mention
yeah,
it.
I mean, with the House Party Protocol, and we know that Ultron's the villain, could have something to do with it, but this one is really the one to watch. And you were not as excited for this movie as I was.
No, and mainly because the first Captain America is kind of so-so on my list.
Yeah, I love it.
Corey loves it. I'm not that big of a fan of it. It's lower on my list of, if I was to rank the Marvel movies in order, it'd be down near the bottom.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know, I just didn't like it as much. It didn't pull me in as much. Captain America's, he's okay as a character, but he's not one of my favorite characters.
This one had good humor, it had good characters, it had good action.
Oh my gosh. I mean, Captain America versus a Quinjet.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. It was
Captain
great.
America versus a helicarrier.
Falcon versus a helicarrier.
Captain America.
I think Falcon kind of steals the show a little bit.
He can't. Yeah, he does at that point. Although Black Widow gets a lot of
Oh yeah,
good action and a good
screen
parts.
time. Mm-hmm. Because in Iron Man 2, she's the secret agent, and she gets her one action scene in there.
Yeah.
With
She
Avengers,
fights with Happy or
yeah.
alongside Happy.
Avengers, she's almost the glue that holds the team together. Coulson's kind of more the glue, but she kind of just she's there to help. And in this one, she's like really shines.
Yeah, and as far as the villain goes, Bucky Barnes is the Winter Soldier. Fantastic villain.
Oh, so good.
Every time he comes on the screen, you're like, "Holy crap! What's he gonna do?"
Yeah, I don't know.
Who's he gonna kill? It kind of started the whole Hail Hydra, taking dismantling S.H.I.E.L.D. from the inside, which
and it saved Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We have to give it points for
That's
that.
true. It's true. And the next one on our list is one that we totally forgot came out this year. Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
And we put it on this list not because
We liked it.
we liked it, but because it's a geek movie,
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
There were parts in it that were good.
Yes, there were parts in it. As much as I hate it, Gwen Stacy's death, perfect.
Spoilers.
It's been out for like 6 months.
I know.
7 months.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, it was perfect.
It was very
And
well
that's
done.
really weird to say
and
about a death of a
perfect because it
character.
was so sad.
And so tragic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Poor Gwen Stacy / Emma Stone.
But it just didn't do what it needed to.
But the rest of the movie was not that good.
The humor wasn't there from the first one.
Nope.
It just, and Sony agrees they've canned their plans for Spider-Man, and they're trying to work out how to do it. 53%.
We'll get another
users,
reboot in a couple of years.
Oh yeah. Or sorry, 53% of critics liked it.
67% of users.
Yeah, not the greatest. This one is another movie that I couldn't believe came out this
Shocking.
year.
Shockingly
But it wasn't
good.
because I didn't like it. X-Men: Days of Future Past. I thought it came out last year for some reason. It's been so long since I've seen it.
It was shockingly good. And I think most people will probably agree with me on that.
It was an insulin injection into the diabetes-ridden X-Men franchise.
Yeah, it was a revitalization of the franchise. Exactly. I mean,
Critics and users agree, 92% across the board for that movie. Which
this one,
I think is the highest rating out of all
we
of them
went
here.
into this pretty nervous. We liked First Class.
Yep.
But we weren't sure.
The Wolverine was okay.
Yeah, it was okay. We weren't sure how. Was it Zack Snyder that did this one?
No, it was the guy who did the first two, Bryan Singer.
Yeah, Bryan Singer. Okay.
And
We weren't sure how he was going to handle it.
The answer, very well.
Very, very well.
I think that if we wanted to do like a best actress of the year, it would go to Jennifer Lawrence.
Okay.
Simply for her performance here.
As Mystique.
She can be okay in Mockingjay and everything like that, but here she really shines.
Yeah.
She shines blue, but she shines.
She shines. She could shine other colors. That's her power.
That's true. The next one, Scott's most anticipated movie of the year. Even over Interstellar.
Yep.
Guardians of the
Guardians
Galaxy.
of the freaking galaxy.
The Space Avengers, as it's been called.
The unusual interplanetary attacking team, as China calls it.
Yep. Great movie.
Oh,
It's what we
so
want Star
good.
Wars to be from now
So
on.
good.
And Star Wars, I think Star Wars was talking about... No, Star Trek was talking about how they want to be more Guardians of the Galaxy-like.
Awesome.
Which the humor is there. The Marvel humor is there. And it's just such a good movie.
And it's riddled with Easter eggs. As a Marvel fan, every scene had something in it that I was like, that's from the comics. Oh, that's from another comic. Oh.
90% of users or critics,
94% of users.
Really good. Our highest user rating.
Heralded as one of the best movies of the year.
The second grossing worldwide, top grossing U.S., second worldwide of the year.
Behind Transformers 4.
Transformers
Because
4.
for some reason the Asian countries loved
Well,
Transformers
they
4.
paid for it to be in China for the third half of that movie. So, the third part of that movie.
Yeah.
The last one on our list that's a geeky movie is The Better Movie with Eva Green's boobs in it, but
Yep.
not by much. Sin City 2, A Dame to Kill For.
Yeah. So Sin City, the first one, great movie.
Super
one
good
of my all-time favorite comic book movies.
Yeah.
Behind like Watchmen and stuff, and V for Vendetta.
Yeah, graphic novel movie.
Graphic novel movie. Yeah. And it. So the second one comes out. Super excited for it.
Yeah, the trailers looked great.
And it was okay.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like amazing like the first one was.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is it was built up so good from the first one, and you didn't like the confusion, the time jumping.
Yeah,
that
the
happened in it.
time jumps was all over the place, and
Yeah.
so you didn't know when events were happening. Whereas in Sin City 1, you didn't really need to know. They did the same kind of thing, but you didn't need to know when the events were happening because they were all self-contained stories, and they overlapped a little bit, but more as like sweet, there's Marv.
Yeah.
You know, he's in the background, or oh, look, he's in the same street that happened in.
Yeah.
But this one, they kind of all interwoven together, and they all teamed up together for stuff, and it ended up being like, what?
A little bit less. Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's weird.
all right. And the winner is, for the best geek movie of the year. What? It's not Captain America Winter Soldier?
I'm sorry, Corey. That was a very close call. However, it is Guardians of the Galaxy.
As much as I wanted, I fought tooth and nail
He did.
for Winter Soldier.
It's true. I have the bite marks to prove it.
But you pointed out to me that with Guardians of the Galaxy, Marvel took a property that nobody thought would do good.
Everyone looked at this and said, "You want to put what? A talking raccoon and a tree as
Okay.
main characters?"
And the
You're
tree only says 3 words?
You're crazy.
Yeah.
Marvel, you are crazy. Oh, and you also want to put it in space, which guess what? Audiences
don't like space.
are not space fans. For some reason, I mean, they're on a living spaceship flying through space. I don't know why they don't like space, but they did it.
Yeah.
And they
did it well.
and now they can pretty much put out any movie and people are going to love them and go see them. And so far they can do no wrong.
Yeah.
Although Iron Man 2 wasn't the greatest, but it was okay.
Yeah. I just I really wanted it to be Captain
I know you did. And I will give one thing.
I almost had you convinced.
One thing Captain America had over Guardians was the villain. Bucky was more of a fleshed out villain. You knew more about what's going on, especially after he was revealed to be Bucky, the
you're
Winter
like,
Soldier.
Oh, it makes sense.
Whereas in Guardians of the Galaxy, Lee Pace's character Ronan, while
menacing.
menacing, weird.
Yeah,
yeah,
very
came
weird.
across weird, and the fact that he was paired up with that terrible actress Nebula
Yeah.
made it so bad.
Okay. Yep,
But-
but you're right. Guardians.
Just for the sheer fact that it has changed the way Marvel looks at movies now.
The Guardians of the
and they
Galaxy.
even admitted that they were not sure how well it would do, and they didn't think it would do that
Yeah.
good. And it is done great. Like
Well-
you said, second most money made this year
Yep.
on a movie.
They can hold their
Fan-
hands up high with the Geek Award floating above them and go, na, 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 na.
We're going to give them a golden axe.
Yes. The golden axe of geekery.
Yep.
Wonderful. Well, that's going to do it for the award show of the Acts of Geekery podcast, our first annual.
Kind of a different format. Let us know whether or not you liked it.
And you can do that by
any-
emailing us at actsofgeekery@gmail.com.
You can leave us a comment or a message on Facebook, facebook.com/Acts of Geekery.
Or on our Twitter page, we are at Acts of Geekery or the hashtag Acts of Geekery.
You can also leave a comment on this video or any other video on YouTube, and you can just search for Acts of Geekery, our channel page.
And those are all ACTS,
Not AXE. We are also on
Oh, yeah, we
iTunes
are
as
also
well,
on that.
and
I-
so
I forget about that.
leave us a good review. Leave us a good
Yeah,
review.
go give us a review, give us a subscribe, share us with a friend.
Yes.
Let your friend know, hey, this is where I get
If
all
you
my
share
geek
with two
news.
friends and they share with their two friends and then they share with their two friends, that's like 6 friends right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to give a special thanks to Rotten Tomatoes for giving us this wonderful system to see what you guys thought of it, which did kind of
Yeah.
go into our factors.
A little bit.
Guardians kind of won out a little bit because they had a better rating than Winter Soldier. And I would also like to give a special thanks, because I didn't last week, to our sister, Sarah, for coming on and doing that wonderful narration that she did.
If you haven't listened to our last episode, you should probably go take a listen. We've got some skits in there, and dare I say, some of them are kind of funny.
Yeah, some of them.
Dare I say.
Dare you say.
Others
Next
are a
week-
little weird, but that's okay. We're a little weird.
Yep. Next week we'll be back to our usual format with the topic, what's coming in 2015, because it will be after
A
the new
lot
year.
of cool stuff.
Yes.
And if you've got something you want us to talk about that's coming in 2015,
Yeah.
movies, games, TV shows, we got a lot of stuff we're going to cover, and we'll burn through that as quickly as we can.
But until then, I'm Cory,
And I'm Scott.
and we're the Brothers Geek.
Keep geeking out.
See ya!